real earning potential of a microgreen farm. Today, we're going to dive deep into what a single rack can get you and how much money it can put into your wallet. Get ready to uncover the profit secrets of these little tiny greens. Let's get into it. All right, transforming your microgreen rack into a profit machine. These racks can be profit machines. They can bring you a lot of money. It just kind of depends on how you're growing, what you're growing. We're going to dive in what we do and what we make as profit on all of our greens. So you're going to get a deep dive of what the actual numbers are, what we make per tray, and what our profit is, and everything else. So we're going to dive deep into this. So don't want to miss this. This is going to be good. So a standard rack can hold 20 trays. That's a lot of greens. That's what we're going to go by. You can do 24 if you make them smaller, like Andy does, stuff like that. But most people are doing 20 per tray, per rack, 20 trays per rack. So that's what we're going to stick with all these numbers. When transferring a microgreen rack, you want to diversify. So you don't want to just grow basil on it. That's going to be a long-term grow. You know, when you're starting out, you definitely don't want to do that. So you want to think like a micro mix, spicy salad mix from like True Leaf, or a mix of some kind, broccoli, radishes, some kind of radish, any radish you do here in this example. Peas, sunflowers, obviously, them are going to give you most bang for your buck, as you're going to see here. So definitely want to be growing peas and sunflowers. Sunflowers can be a pain in the butt to do sometimes, get seed hauls, but if you get the right seeds, like the tiny seeds from Greener Harvest, you won't have a problem. They come off well, and it's not very hard to sort them and get them done. So that saves you a lot of times with them. So peas for sure, great profit on them. So you definitely want to be growing peas, and you're going to see that here in just a minute. But you want to focus on quick crops, 10-day grows, so 3 days germination or 4 days germination, 6 days under lights or 7 days under lights. You want that 10 days. So you can plant on a Friday, harvest on a Monday, say, deliver on Tuesday, something like that, or whatever your delivery schedule is. But you want them quick 10-day crops when you're first starting. And as you go in your business, you want them. Even if you're adding on more longer-term crop grows, you still want to make sure you have these quick turning crops that are going to make you quick profits, that quick income. So we're going to dive into numbers. This will be fun. Numbers are fun, especially when you know how much money you can make on a single tray, on a single rack. So you know how much money you can make on this. This is exciting. So we're going to get the cost of microgreens, seed, soil, electric, water, packaging, time, what's your labor on there, and everything else. So it's going to be exciting. Don't worry about it. Do you want to talk a little bit about right now? We've got a special offer for coaching right now. Never made this offer before. This is the first time we're going to make this offer. So what are you going to get for this offer that we're doing for this business coaching? So January only. This is only going to the end of January. Looking to take 3 to 5 people on. Not really any more than that. So if we get 3 or 5 today, it may end. But trying to go all the way into the end of January with it, but we'll see how we can fit everybody into the calendar. But this is going to be a great offer. So with this offer, you're going to get 2 one-on-one sessions with me, valued at $100 each. That's $200 in value there. You're not going to pay that. Full course, you get 1 month access to our full course, everything that we got in there. So it's $97 a month in value, so that you get it for 1 month. You can continue, obviously, after that, but you get it for 1 month for this price that's coming up. Includes weekly group live sessions. These sessions are great. Everybody gets talking. Somebody else asks a question. It makes you think of a question to ask. So they're great to have a group. Always in a group setting is great to learn in. And our group is really good. It's very close niche. Most people have been with me for a very long time. So they really help out. And the students are very, very good. And it just helps each other out being in a group. All our resource sheets, you're going to get all of them. They're valued at $650. It's probably even more than that. The value you're getting that is astronomical. It's a great, great value. Total value of that is $947 plus. It's, like I said, more than that, especially with the resource sheets in there and the value you're going to get. These Q&As, these live sessions we're going to have are going to be scheduled for an hour, but if we're having a good session, they can go longer. I'm going to be here to help you. I want to help you. I want to help you grow your microgreen business. This is why we're doing this. And then we're going to throw in a free t-shirt too. Who doesn't like a free t-shirt? So we're going to throw that in as well. That's an extra bonus. You'll get that sent to you. You just give me your address and I'll send it right out to you. Ask me about microgreens. You know, that's a good shirt to have on when you're walking around, you're shopping, you're going to farmers markets, whatever. Get people to ask you a question and then sell them. So we're going to give that today or to the end of January, depending on how many people join. If we have good value out of the people really start getting in it, we'll figure it out. We'll add more in, but I'm looking for 3 to 5. So it's $197. It will go only to the end of January for sure. It may be cut off earlier, but definitely only going to the end of January. I can't give this away forever. This is a great offer, great value for $197. It's a no-brainer. And you can email me at mike@microgreenbusinesscoaching.com, and I'll send you all the information now, a welcome video, all that to you to let you know what to do and everything else. And we'll get you set up and we'll get you scheduled in one-on-ones, and we'll really take this business to the next level. But let's get back into how much you can make off of one rack. So first, we're going to talk about speckled peas. And how much you can make of these. So an average yield of speckled peas for us is 24 ounces. We sell it at $2.50 an ounce. So $2.50 an ounce times 24 ounces on that. That is $60 in sales per tray of speckled peas. That's why we grow speckled peas. That's why we all should be growing speckled pea, or a pea of some kind, a yellow pea, maybe a green pea, some kind of pea. We grow speckled peas. That's why we got it up here. And we average 24 ounces on it. It depends on what you're going to average on it, on your peas, you know, so you got to figure your numbers into this. If you're only getting 20 ounces or if you're getting more, we get 24. We try to grow them at 9 days. They just taste better. They're better height for us. So we're only getting 24 ounces. We could stretch it and get more, but this is optimal for us for best tasting product as well. You want to keep that in mind as well too. So $60 for a tray of speckled peas in sales. This is not profit. We'll get in that in a minute. This your sales. So here we go. How much profit is that? So an average yield is 24 ounces, like we said. Production cost of that tray is $4.41. So $4.41 times 24 divided by 24 ounces, is only 18 cents per ounce. That's all it costs you to grow an ounce of speckled peas, or probably peas of any kind, whatever your pea you're using. 18 cents. That's awesome. So $60 minus $4.41, that is $55.59 in profit. But we do have other things that are coming in effect of this. This isn't the final profit. This is just almost there. We're almost there. But we'll get into the details of that in a little bit. So awesome profit on peas. So definitely something you want to be growing is peas. So let's talk about sunflowers. So sunflowers average for us also 24 ounces. We usually get 27, but I always go lower numbers on these as well to make them, real numbers. I don't want to give you false hope. I never want to do that. I don't want to say, oh, we get 30 ounces on peas, 36 ounces. I know some people get that, but we get 24 ounces. We do only seed them at 3 ounces also. So we probably could get more, but we just find this being the best for the tasting of the microgreens is 3 ounces seeded. So we get 24 ounces on our lowest number. So again, we sell them for $2.50 an ounce. You're going to see this everywhere. We basically sell everything for $2.50 an ounce. $2.50 an ounce at 24 ounces. So that is also $60 a tray. But how much does it cost to produce this tray? You always got to think about that. What's the cost of this tray? So sunflower tray, average yield obviously is 24 ounces. We just talked about. Production cost of that is $7.51. Some of that's labor. Some of it's seeds cost. Seeds cost more on sunflowers than they do on peas. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Again, there's labor baked into this too. So the amount of times it takes to sort the sunflower seeds and everything else, and I go on the higher end of how long it takes. Not how long it takes me. I can get 20 trays done in 2.5 hours of sunflowers. But I've been doing it for 3.5 years, almost over 3 years. So I got it down. So $7.51 to produce that tray. That's 31.2 cents an ounce for us to produce it. That's what it cost us. So profit on that, $55. It should be $60. Yeah, it should be $60 minus $7.51. So we're going to add $5 into that. That is $52.49. Math, hard sometimes, but it's $52.49 in profit, not final profit, but profit for that sunflower tray. All right. So a salad mix of some kind. We use the spicy salad mix from Truly for some other, whatever you're getting it from. Just some kind of mix that's already mixed in of all the Nebraska, the smaller varieties. So We put 8 ounce on average yield for this. Really, we're getting 10. But again, I don't want to give anybody false hope with these numbers. We're trying to give reality numbers. We've been growing them for a while. We got it down on how to grow. If you're just starting out, 8 ounces is a good number to start with. If you're doing your own numbers, you might want to start with 6 just to make sure you're profitable. But 8 ounces for us is on the low end. So that's what we're going with today. $2.50 an ounce again, times 8 ounces. That is $20 per tray in sales. Per tray in sales. You can see how much we're going down here from peas and sunflowers. But these are ones that sells really good too. So in profit on that, 8 ounces of salad mix is $2.99 per tray to produce. And we'll talk about in a minute where we get all these numbers. Have an offer for you to get that sheet as well, what we use. So don't worry about that. I'll show you how to calculate all these numbers as well. So stay tuned. So that's 37.3 ounces is what it costs us to produce. So not too bad still. So $2.99 off of that $20 tray, $17.01 in profit. Excuse me. Not too bad. But no pea or sunflower, that's for sure. So let's talk about broccoli. Broccoli, we are 9 ounces on here. We are actually getting around 12 ounces. We're getting around 12 ounces on that tray, really, in reality now, especially with using the Coco Loco. So, again, we sell it for $2.50 an ounce. $2.50 an ounce at 9 ounces. So $2.50 times 9 there. That is $22.50 per tray in sales. That 1 extra ounce makes a difference. And really, you can probably add 3 more ounces on this, but we're giving you guys real numbers that you could probably get. If you're getting more than that, awesome. So the profit on broccoli, it cost us to produce them 9 ounces. It cost us $2.95. That is 33 cents per ounce to produce a tray of broccoli. So $22.50 minus $2.95 is $19.55 in profit for that tray. We want to average at least 20, and if you average all this stuff out, obviously you're going to average more than that. So you'll see that here in a little bit. Radishes. I love the radishes. They yield really, really good. Our low end on radishes is 18. We are getting 22 on a regular basis, which is 11 containers out of that pit. We're going 18, like I said, going a little lower to make these numbers not sound crazy. So $2.50 an ounce. Again, we sell everything at $2.50 an ounce. This balances out across everything else. So that 18 ounces, that is $45 in sales per tray. That is awesome. These are another ones you want to make sure you're growing. We grow the Triton radishes, so that may be different if you're growing the purple radishes or something like that. But again, you can put your own numbers in to figure that out. So how much profit do we get off of a tray of radish? So tray radish, 18 ounces. Its production cost of that is $3.15. So it only costs us 18 cents per ounce to produce a radish. That is awesome. So $45 minus the $3.15 to produce that tray. So $41.85 in profit. Grow radishes. Grow them Triton purple radishes for sure. All right. So this is a rack here. This is from where we were growing in our house. And you can see it's got all the different varieties on that and everything else. So that's why we do it. So I recommend trying to get to your original cells when you're first starting out is to get to where you have 4 speckled peas on a rack, 4 sunflowers, 4 micros, 4 broccoli, 4 radishes. This gives you a diverse amount of growing. It gives you good cells, and it's going to make that profit higher rather than if you were just growing micro mix at only $68.40 for 4 trays versus speckled peas at $222.36. That's awesome. That's usually you want that mix. And when you're first starting out and you got your first rack, you obviously can't grow just all speckled peas. We have 2 full racks almost of speckled peas now, 2 full rack plus of sunflowers. Broccoli is like 3 racks. So, keep that in mind when you're doing all that. You want to diversify. We definitely did that in the beginning. Diversified. So you can see all the numbers here, $189.96 for sunflowers, micro mix $68.40, $78.20 for broccoli, $167.40. This is what you'd make if you're growing 4 of each of these varieties on a 5-tier rack. So that's pretty good. Pretty good diversification there. So that's what you want to kind of aim for. So now like I said, it wasn't the final cost. So you do have to keep track of your packaging and label as well in this. And this spreadsheet that I'm going to share to you in a little bit has all this on there as well. We're going to assume that everything is packed in a 2-ounce retail package. That's what we do. So that's where we're going to assume. So a rack would make 166 packets for us. Peas are going to make 12 packets. Sunflowers are going to make 12 packets. Radishes are going to make 9 packets per tray, so on and so on. So 166 packets out of that one rack is what you can get following our numbers. So a 2-ounce package in individual container is going to cost us 32 cents each. So that's 32 cents times 166. So you're going to get $53.12 in cost of packaging for one rack using this example. The Avery labels we use are $11. Ooh, that'd be high, wouldn't it? 11.5 cents per each label. So that is times 166 is $19.09 in total cost of labels for a rack in this example. So total cost to pack, so label, package, everything there. Excuse me. The total cost is $72.71 for that. So definitely keep that in mind when you're doing your numbers. And then you got delivery costs. Most people aren't coming to pick up your packaging at whatever location. If they are, awesome, you can save this cost. For us to do our deliveries, our cost is $100 a week in fuel. It averages between 80 and 100. So we always go to 100 when we're doing this math. Go to the highest level, the numbers. If you make more money, awesome. Not a big deal. So we go to the $100 when we're figuring all these numbers out and everything else. So that's what it costs for us. Whatever it costs for you is going to be different. But that's your cost of delivery you want to put in there. And if you do this also right, this is not tax advice by any means, but tax accountant, you can write off your mileage of doing business. So keep track of your mileage and you'll reap this cost back tenfold. So keep track of that. All right. So that rack would come out if you sold it all at retail cost, straight to consumer, to a restaurant, whatever. Straight to consumer, we'll say it. The end user is going to be $553.25 in profit. But most of us probably are not selling everything straight retail, consumer end, restaurants. Probably got grocery stores mixed in there. You probably got some wholesale customers or something. So if you sold it all wholesale, that's all the numbers behind there. If you sold it all wholesale, that would be $335.46. This is the main part of our business. So this is what we estimate every rack to be, is $335. I don't use the cents, but I put it in here because that's what the real numbers are. So $1.75 per ounce is what you charge wholesale, basically. $3.50 per package. So this is the number that we use when we're calculating racks. So when we're thinking about how many racks we want to add and build business and how many we can fit into place, this is the number that we use. Anything above this is gravy. So this is the number I'm going to say that you guys should be shooting for. Everything else is gravy, makes you more money. But $335 per rack, it's still not a bad number. It's a good number. You had 10 racks in that, it's over $3,000. If you can fit 10 racks someplace, that's over $3,000 in potential sales. Most of us probably could quit our jobs and do that. So as we have, obviously. So definitely a great number to use there. So realistic expectations is somewhere between $300 and $550. I know you see some people out there going, you make $500 per rack, and you can, but it's really hard to get that on a consistent basis unless you're selling everything retail, direct consumer, which is can be a pain to do because you're having to deliver a lot of that there. So you're using a lot of fuel because you're stopping and going, instead of delivering straight to a grocery store and making a $335 wholesale. So you're doing numbers, think about 300 to 550 on the very, very high end. That's, you're going to be really good at growing. You're an expert grower. You've been doing this for years and you can sell it all at retail. That's the only way you can make over $500 per rack. Real numbers here. This takes only account into to produce this rack. So if you got a place, if you're doing this at home, this counts the water, the electric and stuff for the lights and everything else to produce this racks. Okay. That's what these numbers cost. Not counting in the rent or anything else you would take in kind of once you go to retail, commercial space, you go to a warehouse like we're in. But if you're at home, you're already paying the other expenses for the air conditioning, the heat, all that stuff. It's already going. You're not going to add that much more on doing this business besides the water and the lights that it's going to produce. But we have that sheet that produces all that numbers for you. So keep that in mind as well. So imagine the possibilities here. This is an actual picture from our growth space. This was the dining room that you're seeing first when you're looking at this picture. That's the first part. That used to be a formal dining room. And then that was a formal living room that we turned into growing microgreens. We used to grow and plant in there and harvest in that area and everything else. As you can see, we didn't have that at the end. This is from April of 23, just right before we maxed out and had to move. We had to move all the planting and harvesting and everything else to the garage, which means we had to get that aired and heated and all that stuff as well. So there was expenses in that, but we were stayed home until we absolutely had to bust out. So we got this. We actually, you can see above there on the racks down the middle, the lights were actually hanging from the ceiling so we can get more racks up, more trays up top because we were, like I said, busting out. Same thing on the rack here on the right. There was lights above there as well, so we could grow above there. All them racks had lights above. So yeah, it was a great time. It was an exciting time and nerve-wracking time to do and everything else, and just had to find space. Not much aisle space to go down that aisle at all either. You could see that. So, but that's what we were growing in, and we stayed until we absolutely had to move, and just dealt with the small space. And I highly recommend that. Build money up and everything else before you move. So this is move-in day. This is after we put all the racks in. We just wrapped them up and took them while they were still growing, put them in a U-Haul truck and brought them over, and had 2 boys helping me, and we just lifted them up and moved them into space. So it was a long day. It was August, so it was hot, moving in and everything else. So it was fun though. We also in the space now, which is not pictured here, we also have a 4-tier by 12 six tier 4x12 6-tier hydroponic system for lettuce that we put in here as well. And you guys have probably seen some of that on Facebook groups and everything else. And then we have an edible automatic watering system, edible flower automatic watering system too. Moving here gave us all that possibilities of doing that as well. So that was nice to have. So it's nice to have the extra space for that. But more space, more bills. So, you got the rent. Now you got all the heating and air for the whole space and the water for the whole space and all that stuff, everything else. And we have a dish machine now. So that takes water up. So you got to be calculated when you're ready to move and going into a space. So we did take that into account, overall profit here, because most of us are not going to have that. But if you do move, you need to take that into account and figure out what that numbers are and know what you're going to pay double everything. Now you got to pay for internet at the place. You got to pay for water. You got to pay for power. You got to pay for the heat and cool the whole thing, not just the lights and everything else. But so just one more time, just because I want to make sure you guys understand this offer and everything else that we're giving to you. January only. It ends in January. No matter how many people I've had, if I've had 0, which I hope I don't, the goal is 3 to 5 for this offer, and then we're going to shut it off most likely. So you want to get in. 2 one-on-one sessions. We'll go through this fast. Full course, 1 month value, $97 for that full course. You get 45 videos, and we add more videos all the time. So 45 videos, plus you get the weekly group sessions as well. Them sessions are awesome. A lot of valuable information there with students and everything else. It's usually scheduled for an hour. We usually end up going 2 hours. So just because we're having good conversations. Access to all of our resource sheets. That's well over a $650 value. Total value, that's $947, not counting even the t-shirt in there. That don't even count that value in there. So they're giving that away to you for free as well, all for only $197. Great value. Don't want to miss this. Take advantage of this. It may never come around again. Ends in January for sure. So email me, mike@microgreenbusinesscoaching.com, and we'll get that over to you. I thank you all for joining us today live, watching this. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching. And we will see you guys in the next one. All right. If you're still here live,